Hey guys, Justin here of Figatech, and let's finally dive deeper on what this Xiaomi Mi 11 5G has to offer. Coming in equipped with a Snapdragon 888 chipset, it comes with more upgrades such as a 120Hz quad curve display, Harman Kardon stereo speakers, and a 108 megapixel primary camera. On paper, it looks like Xiaomi really raised the bar high, living up to its bang for your buck standards. But let's see what it's really got when it comes to everyday use. Starting with design, the Xiaomi Mi 11 screams premium with its curved Gorilla Glass back and front with a thin metal frame. Even if it's taller than its predecessor, it still fits the palm well. Although people with small hands might prefer to use both to get a better grip. What we have here is in the Horizon Blue colorway, but you can also opt for the Midnight Gray or the Cloud White variant. The rear has a matte finish on it and it is sealed with Gorilla Glass 5. On the upper left is a protruding square with rounded corners triple camera setup that's far from current iPhone camera modules. Below that is some Xiaomi branding. Up front, we get an almost bezel-less 6.81-inch wide Quad HD Plus AMOLED dot display with a 20:9 aspect ratio and an extra sharp pixel density of 515 pixels per inch. We get a tiny punch hole notch on the upper left for the front camera, and we also do get an under-display fingerprint sensor that's easy to reach. The screen is protected by the new Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is actually 2 times more scratch resistant than the Gorilla Glass 6, and it can survive drops of up to 2 meters. On top of that, it also has a pre-installed screen protector, so thanks for that. There's nothing to see on the left side, but on the right are its power button and volume rocker. They're clicky and tactile. Up top is the noise-canceling microphone together with an IR blaster and the secondary speakers by Harman Kardon. Looking closely, there's a Harman Kardon branding embedded beside it. Underneath, we'll find the Type-C port, speaker grill, primary microphone, and the SIM slot. Inside the slot is a dual SIM tray, both of which are 5G capable. But unfortunately, there's no micro SD card slot here. Overall, for design, the Mi 11 is charming and high quality. There's no doubt that it's got most of the flagship touches except for an IP rating, which we are hoping to see soon in future Xiaomi smartphones. Moving on to display, the Mi 11 sports a stunning 6.81-inch wide Quad HD Plus AMOLED screen with a resolution of 3200 by 1440 pixels and a pixel density of 515 pixels per inch. It has HDR10 Plus support and of course that smooth 120Hz refresh rate option. It is an adaptive sync display, so once you turn on 120Hz, it will automatically adjust the refresh rate depending on current demand so you can save more battery. Although it has a curved display, we didn't experience a lot of accidental touches from the sides. And that's good. If for some reason the notch still bothers you, well, Xiaomi still gives you the option to hide it in the settings. In the display settings, there's seriously a lot to tweak around. First, there's the light mode and the dark mode that can be scheduled if say you want to have a dark scheme every nighttime. Even for the brightness level, it has a sunlight mode to adjust the brightness to strong ambient light when automatic brightness is off. The brightness for every time you use night mode is also separated, and it's something I personally appreciate. Other than that, there's also reading mode, and besides reducing the amount of blue light, it has a paper mode that gives an additional paper texture for your reading sessions. Nice! Then there's the option to turn on anti-flicker mode and choose your preferred color scheme. As for the display resolution and refresh rate, you can reduce the resolution to a 1080p display as well as reduce the refresh rate to the standard 60Hz to save more battery life. There are also additional settings you can play around if you want to enhance your photo and video viewing under AI Image Engine. The always-on display feature is also available and it is packed with numerous themes that are all customizable. As for audio quality, it's actually very good. Sounds come out well-rounded with a decent amount of bass. It can get loud enough for a medium-sized room, and with the Harman Kardon dual speakers, we get rich tones with some slight vibrations that makes playing games more exciting. The sound quality can also be customized in the settings under sound effects, and you even get additional options once you connect a headset. If you notice, there's no headphone jack on the Mi 11, but it does come with a Type-C to 3.5mm headphone adapter in the package if you still prefer wired headsets. Talk about software, the Mi 11 runs on Android 11 skin with MIUI 12 out of the box. It's no secret that we've always liked how MIUI maintains a minimal-looking interface even if it includes a few ads. And guys, MIUI 12 is no exception. We like it, and yes, it has Google services. It looks clean and straightforward. We like that it didn't come with a lot of bloatware, and we only get a couple of Xiaomi proprietary apps as well as some from Google. Other than that, there are only about 5 pre-installed third-party apps that you can always uninstall if you like. The customization features in the settings can be overwhelming in a good way. By that, I meant almost everything from the home screen to the lock screen can be personalized. You can navigate with gestures or the on-display buttons, and you can also disable the app drawer if you're not a fan of it. Interestingly, we get the option to use the usual Android drop-down notification and control center format, or the newer style that's a lot similar to the iOS design. If you ask us, we like the newer iPhone-like style. There's a new floating window feature that can be highly useful for multitasking, and you can easily access it every time you view the recent apps you used. However, it is limited to one floating window, and there are only a few compatible apps that you can use. For other features, it comes with super wallpapers, one-handed mode, dual apps, app lock, digital well-being, second space, video toolbox, and light mode for less visual clutter. The Mi 11 is available in 2 storage options: 128GB and 256GB of UFS 3.1. Out of the 128GB that we got, we get a usable 108GB, which should be enough for most users. Unfortunately, it is not expandable via microSD card. Moving on, the Mi 11 isn't just all about display. Performance-wise, it is impressive. Its Snapdragon 888 processor is paired with an Adreno 660 GPU, along with 8GB of RAM, which is the one we have, or 12GB of RAM. And definitely, we weren't disappointed with its performance. Launching and loading apps are lightning fast and are further accentuated with a smooth 120Hz refresh rate. Gaming is a no-brainer as playing graphically intensive titles runs smoothly, especially with the Game Turbo support. For some numbers, take a look at the benchmark scores we got. Although take note that while the Mi 11 is equipped with a vapor chamber cooling system, we did encounter some occasional heating when running heavy apps for an extended period of use. Nonetheless, it doesn't get to an alarming hot level. When it comes to security, you can unlock the phone via facial recognition or the under-display fingerprint scanner. There's nothing new here, both are reliable and work smoothly and accurately. As for connectivity, the Mi 11 is complete and up-to-date with support for Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, dual-band GPS, NFC, and dual standby 5G. Juicing up the device is a 4600 mAh battery that's a thin lower compared to the Xiaomi Mi 10. But the upgrade you get is its 55 watts wired fast charging, 50 watts wireless, and 10 watts reverse wireless charging. Charging takes around 45 to 50 minutes from 0 to a full 100%. And if you're wondering, it does come with a power brick in the box. We ran it through the PC Mark's battery test and the device yielded 10 hours and 2 minutes. Meanwhile, in our standard video loop test, it got a total score of 14 hours and 24 minutes. Not bad for a high-consuming display. Now taking a closer look at the camera system, at the rear its triple camera module is composed of a 108MP main sensor with PDAF and OIS. Then we get a 13MP ultra-wide and a 5MP macro lens. Meanwhile, on the tiny notch is a single 20MP shooter. As for other camera features, we get a couple similar to the Mi 10. This includes Pro, HDR, Portrait, Google Lens, and Movie Frame to name a few. You can even customize the colors and layout of the camera interface and save images in HEIF or high efficiency image file format, which is nifty. Quality-wise, images produced by the rear cameras often look sharp, clear, bright with natural looking colors, and shows good dynamic range. When you turn the AI on, it gives a subtle boost that mostly focuses on the vibrance and saturation part. By default, the standard mode gives a nice depth effect, giving those professional-looking photos. However, if you really want to bring your camera A-game on, then we suggest that you use the Pro mode that even allows you to save shots in RAW file formats. The ultra-wide lens does a very good job in closely matching the colors as in standard mode, but there can be some fisheye effects sometimes. Nonetheless, this is still highly useful for us. Taking macro shots, on the other hand, can be a hit or miss. But once you get the right focus, you can expect a nice subject-background separation and high-quality details. So if you may have noticed, there's no dedicated telephoto lens on the Mi 11. But it does compensate with the 108-megapixel high-resolution lens if you want the digital zoom quality. It is quite a hassle, but if you don't mind the lower quality, Xiaomi still provided up to 30 times zoom on board. More on its 108-megapixel shooter, using it produces very detailed photos with quality that's almost identical to the standard mode. It's still a great feature to have and would probably be useful if you're going to print your photos in a huge tarpaulin or whatnot. But quite honestly, no matter how much you increase the camera resolution, it doesn't guarantee that it would look as crisp and clear once it's uploaded to your social media. So yeah. For night photography, here's what it looks like without the night mode turned on. As you can see, it's dark and grainy. Now here's what it looks like with the night mode turned on. It's not the best since it still looks washed out, but we do get a brighter shot with more details. There's also an auto night mode that you can turn on in the settings, so it will automatically detect low light and produce a better shot. It takes less time to take a shot with it compared to using the night mode, but the quality is often just as close to each other. If you want to take your night shots to the next level, then you can use the super moon that's mainly dedicated for taking awesome shots of the moon. This feature allows you to zoom in up to 30 times. Selfies, on the other hand, look great under good lighting conditions. It falls more on cooler tones with the natural skin tone being retained. Plus, we like that it doesn't go overboard with the beauty mode on. The portrait mode also has an excellent subject-background separation, and you can even play with the aperture and blur style afterward. Now for videos, it is capable of shooting up to 8K at 30 frames per second and 4K 1080p and 720p at 30 or 60 frames per second. The Steady Video mode as well as the Steady Video Pro mode works across all settings, which is great for vlogging. Moreover, it comes with tons of cinematic features that helps you create those cool intros with slick transitions. Under movie effects, you can play around with fun video quirks such as magic zoom, slow shutter, time freeze, nighttime lapse, and parallel world. So locally, the Xiaomi Mi 11 will come with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, and it's priced at 36,990 pesos. Sure, the Xiaomi Mi 11 has a few drawbacks such as the occasional heating, lack of telephoto lens, slightly lower battery capacity, and lack of an IP rating. But there's still a lot of convincing reasons why you should get this beastly phone. Besides the stellar performance and outstanding display, you get a good set of cameras, Harman Kardon stereo speakers, and fast wired and wireless charging that's all sealed in an attractive premium design. It's one of the best performing phones you can get to date, and we do highly recommend it. And that's it for this review, guys. Share to us what you think about this Xiaomi Mi 11 in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Justin, and don't forget to wash your hands and stay at home.